short video. And yeah, I'm Lucardival and I want to show you my most favorite deck that I created on my own. And yeah, it is called Performapal Raidraptor or Performarate if you want, or how I also like to call it is Arc 5 Deluxe because yeah, it has many cards from Arc 5 in it. And yeah, it isn't a meta deck, it's just one I created for fun because it is a combination of my most favorite arch, archetypes, Perform Pulse and Raidraptor. And yeah, I created in October or such, I think, when Crystron Halqifibrax got banned. So I had to change my Perform Pulse deck, and yeah, that's how I somehow ended up building this one. And it is working better than you may think. And yeah, maybe you can maybe you can use this as a, yeah, maybe to play it and surprise your friends or such, or maybe it can just, just be an inspiration for you. And yeah, so first we have three Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. You can search any dragon monster of level 8 or lower, which is which is in this deck the Dark Worm. Then we have Performable Otherwise Dissolver, which is only used for fusion summoning in this deck. Then as a rank as a zero scale, we have the, the so-called Donut or Supreme King Gate Zero if you want to have the exact name. Then we have Oath Dragon Magician, usually used as a target for Harmonizing Magician. Then the finally free Performable Monkey Board, at least at 1. I hope it will go back to 3 at some point, but I can also understand if it isn't raised back to 3 again, especially after the Pepe format back in 2016, I think. Then we have two Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm. Yeah, mostly used for its graveyard effect and also its special summon effect. Then one of my favorite cards in the whole deck, three Performable Skullcrobat Joker. And now the Raidraptors. We have Raidraptor Strangulanius, a simple special summon from your hand, but it locks you into dark, so we mostly use it later on. And if we don't need it, we don't even use it on the first turn, but it can be useful later on. Also, we have Blackwing Sephiroth the Elite, which is very strong in any Pendulum deck because it can just bounce your scales back to the hand and special summon itself. So yeah, it's just once per duel, so that's why we only play it as at 1. Otherwise it would be quite bricky. Then we have Performable Gentrude, a great scale 8, yeah, a high scale, and also the pop effect is what we mostly need in this deck. So yeah, very helpful for us. Also searchable in this deck. Then another target for Pendulum Call, Performable Celestial Magician, also a target for Skullcrobat Joker or Monkey Board. So yeah, very searchable in this deck. Then we have Performable Pendulum Sorcerer because it's just amazing in this deck. It can pop up to 2 cards you control, and for each card it popped, you can search 1 Performable. So yeah, you can also trade the Gentrude with it, which I will show you later on. Then we have Pearl Poison Magician, just another target for Harmonizing Magician or Pendulum Call. So yeah. Then we have Performable Odd Eyes Minotaurus, which is mostly used so we can search it with Pendulum Sorcerer to get a fusion material for our Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. Then we have Raidraptor Necro Vulture, which is used to just get back a rank up magic we already used, mostly used at the end of the turn, so you don't lock yourself out of Xyz summoning without rank ups. Then we have the free special singing, the Raidraptor singing Lanius. If it's a free special if you can control an Xyz monster. And yeah, it's just once per turn, but still great. It is an inherit summon, so your opponent cannot respond to it as easily as except if they have cards like, I don't know, maybe Solemn Strike or such. Then we have the Raider's Wing, which is always a Phantom Knight, the Phantom Knights and Raidraptor card, and its effect can be used from the hand or the graveyard. And yeah, you can special summon it from your hand or graveyard by detaching a material from a Dark Xyz monster you control. And if it leaves the field, it would be banished, but that usually won't happen in this deck. And also, if it is a material of a Dark Xyz monster, the Dark Xyz monster cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects, which is especially great in more pure Raid Raptor decks. But yeah, maybe it can help in this deck as well at some point. So yeah, there we have Harmonizing Magician, which can special summon uh, um, other and yeah, a magician from your deck, which is great. But yeah, the monster you special summon would be banished if it leaves the field. And harmonizing magician can only be used for a fusion, Xyz, or synchro summon if the other material also is a panel magician. So yeah, which usually is the case, so not really a problem in this deck. Also, this card is our only tuner in the whole deck, so yeah. Then we have the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots, which is just a target for our Bardiche. And yeah, Bardiche also has a second target with Raider's Wing, but the primary target will be Silent Boots. And yeah, you can banish it from your graveyard to search the Phantom Knight's spell or trap from your deck, which is great because it can search two of our three rank ups. Or if we already have one in our hand, we can also search the Fog Blade. Then we got to the spells. We have rank up magic, Soul Shave Force, which targets a Raid Raptor monster, Xyz monster in your graveyard. You pay half your life points and then you can special summon it and make a rank up with it by 2 ranks. So yeah, you can usually just use it to get to infinity. Alright, then we have the Duelist Alliance, 3 copies of it. It's a cheap card. And also, yeah, we can add a pendulum monster, well, with pendulum in its name, or a pendulum spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You can only activate it once per turn. It's hard once per turn. Also, you can only activate it if you have at least one card in your scales. But yeah, that's usually the case. So yeah. Then we have Dragon Shrine as a way to send the Supreme King Darkworm, and also 2 copies of Pendulum Call, which can search. Well, you discard 1 card from your hand. Also, a great way to get the Dark Worm to your graveyard, and you search 2 per Magician Pendulum monsters. But yeah, your Magician Pendulum monsters cannot be destroyed in your scales until the end of the next turn. It can help you, but it also can cause yeah, problems for yourself. So yeah, it's not really used to get the scales. It's mostly used for monsters you can pendulum summon later on. Then we have Foolish Burial, the same reason as Dragon Shrine, so kinda we have two copies of a Foolish Burial in this deck. If you want, you can also play two Dragon Shrines instead. But yeah, I think in this case it's better to run one Foolish Burial because you can also send the Zephyros if you need it or such. So yeah. Then we have the Phantom Knights rank up magic launch, which is used to summon Kalyuga because you can only use it on a Dark Xyz monster that has no materials left. So you can rank up the monster into a monster with a rank higher, and yeah, it also has to be a Dark Xyz monster then, and yeah, and it's a quick spell which is amazing, but yeah, you will see that. Then of course Called by just to protect our combo if we are lucky to draw it. Then we have Phantom Knights Phantom Knights rank up Magic Force, which is great because you banish dark monsters from your graveyard and target one Xyz monster on your field. Yeah, a dark Xyz monster on your field, and then you can rank up it into a Phantom Knights Xyz Dragon or Raidraptor Xyz monster with a rank uh, that is higher equal to the number of banished dark monsters. So if you banish 3 dark monsters, you can rank up the monster you targeted by 3 ranks, which is amazing because usually you need more cards for that. And the last main deck card is Phantom Knight's Fogblade, just another target for Badish, so we can maybe even negate an attack with it. Well, yeah, stopping a monster's attack, it doesn't negate it exactly, just keeps the monster from attacking, but it cannot be target for attacks either. Also, the effects of the monster are negated, so it's kind of like, yeah, Forbidden Chalice, but without giving the monster 400 bonus attack points. So yeah. Then for our extra deck, we have Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, which is an Omni Negate that shuffles back one one face-up panel monster from your extra deck on on resolution. So it's kind of recycling and an Omni Negate, which is amazing. And if your opponent has a face-up monster in attack position, you can also bounce it back to the hand, which is also quite useful as a removal uh, on on the second turn. So yeah. Then we have Baron the Fleur. Yeah, the only really expensive card in this deck, in my opinion. So yeah, if you can't really afford it, you can also play, for example, Borload Savage Ring, but yeah, it limits you, it changes your combo a little bit and kind of limits you a bit. And Baron Lafleur has multiple uses in this deck. First, it is an Omni Negate, but also it can pop a card on the field, also your own cards in on your own turn, because yeah, could for example pop a Chantru to just trigger Chantru's effect to put one of your performable monsters from your deck into the scale, just to get access to it or to yeah use the effects. So it's great. But yeah, if you can't afford it, then you can also play Borrow Savage String, or you can try to find another one which could help you as well, but those are the two best ones. Then we have as an emergency target, we have the Raidraptor Ultimate Falcon. I mean, I don't have to say much about it. It's unaffected by any card effects, and also in the end phase, yeah, on the end phase, you can burn your opponent for 1,000 life points if they don't control a face-up monster, or and on all end phases, not just your own, but also on your opponents. Or if they control face-up monsters, they lose 1,000 attack points permanently. So even if Ultimate Falcon leaves the field, and on your own turn, it also has the effect if you detach material from it, you can lower your opponent's the attack points of your opponent's monsters by 1000 for this turn, and also for the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. And yeah, that's kind of like Kalyuga on your own turn. And yeah, then we have Kalyuga, which is extremely strong, especially because in this deck you have a way to summon it on your opponent's turn, and if it is Xyz summoned mid-chain, it will just negate any cards and effects on the field, and and for the rest of this turn, all cards and effects on the that are activated on the field are negated, and your opponent cannot activate cards or effects on the field as well. So it's amazing. Also, it negates your effects as well, but that's not really a problem. And yeah, the only card that is negated is Kalyuga itself, and it also has a heavy storm-like effect as quick effect, so you can detach a material to destroy both back rows. So yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, usually when you play it, your opponent loses immediately because they can't do anything. It's kind of like a free win. Then we have Raidraptor Satellite Cannon Falcon, which has a Harpy's Feather Duster like effect on if it is summoned, Xyz summoned, and yeah, you can pop the opponent's back row. Also, your opponent cannot activate any cards or effects in response to this effect. So you can use a trick. You can summon it to a zone Badish points to, and then you can activate the effect of Badish as Chain Link 1 to target one of your opponent's monsters, and then Chain Link 2 Satellite Cannon Falcon to pop the back row and make your opponent unable to put anything else into the same chain. So yeah, it's extremely strong if you combine it like this, but yeah, it's more like the secondary target for Rank Up Magic launch because Kalyuga is obviously a stronger. Also, the second effect of Satellite Cannon Falcon is that if you can detach a material as quick effect, and then can target one of face a monster your opponent controls, and for each Raid Raptor monster in your graveyard, your opponent's monster loses 800 points 800 attack points, and that permanently. So it can be useful, but yeah, it's not really played summoned that often, so not really that important, but it can help. Then one of the strongest cards in the whole deck is Raidraptor Arsenal Falcon, because it has three really strong effects. The first one is it can detach a material to special summon one level 4 winged beast monster from your deck without any really yeah side effects or such. The monster can still use its effects, so yeah, it's amazing. In some decks, it could be used to summon the Breastage of the Stormwinds, which I used to play in the side deck, but yeah, now it is banned, so not really anymore. But it is fine in my opinion. It was necessary to get a ban because yeah, Breastage was quite strong and easy accessible for many decks. So yeah. The second effect is for each narrator monster it has as a material, it can attack once. And if it doesn't have a material, of course, it can attack once. So, and if it has two or more, for example, it can attack multiple times. So yeah, that is strong. And also, if it is sent to the graveyard while it has a Raid Raptor monster as a material, you can special summon one Raid Raptor Xyz monster from your extra deck and attach it as material to it. So you can special summon the Ultimate Falcon. and Ultimate Falcon has a material then. The next one is Cyber Dragon Infinity. Yeah, it's just an Omni Negate, but also it gains 200 attacks for each material it has, and also you can activate its effect once per turn, which on your own turn, if you you can activate it and target an attack position monster on the field and attach that monster to it as a material. So yeah, it can just gain additional materials and so yes, remove your opponent's monster from the field, and that even without destroying them, which is always great. And they aren't sent to the grave in that case, so no floating effects. And next we have the package of Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, which has the effect you can target one monster your opponent controls and detach two materials from it to half the opponent's attack points, and it gains those attack points permanently. But it's more used as yeah to rank it up into Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon. One card many people told me would be too busted, but in my opinion it's fair because it's kinda limited to which decks you can play it in. And yeah, it has two effects. The first one, which we usually don't use, is both effects are only available if it has Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Yeah, it can target one monster your opponent have one face-up monster your opponent controls and detach one material to change its attack to 0. And if you do that, you can then Dark Requiem will gain those attack points, the monster's original attack points, permanently. So yeah, it can become quite strong. But the better effect is the second effect, because as a quick effect you can activate its effect, detach one material, and then negate the activation of a monster's effect and destroy the monster. And if you destroyed a monster by that, you can even special summon one Xyz monster from your graveyard, so you can also get some monsters back, which is amazing. And it isn't just able to summon a dark Xyz monster or such. It could even potentially summon Infinity, for example, which would be amazing. So we could just remove another monster and gain another Omni Negate. So yeah, quite useful. Next we have Abyss Dweller, which is great because of its quick effect. So it can detach a material to turn off your opponent's uh, graveyard effects. Well, he cannot activate them. So yeah, great against T elements, for example, or such. So yeah. Also, since it is a quick effect, you can activate it on your draw or standby phase, which is especially useful in this deck, which you will see in a few minutes. Then we have one of the best rank 4 Xyz monsters, Raidraptor Forstrix, which has two effects, because for each winged beast on the field other than itself, it gains 500 attack points and defense points. But yeah, that's almost never used. Also, you mostly would use it as a wall then. And the most important effect is, as a start once per turn, you can detach a material from it to search a Winged Beast level 4 that is a dark monster and add it to your hand. Yeah. And yeah, since it is a soft once per turn, it can be used multiple times on the same turn if you can summon it again. And on this deck, we use two because we need to search twice. Next is Badish, which is the Phantom Knights of Rusty Badish, because you can easily summon it, and you can, on your own main phase you can activate the effect to send one the Phantom Knights monster from your deck to the graveyard, and set one Phantom Knight spell or trap from your deck, and The second effect is if a Dark Xyz monster is special summoned to a zone it points to, then you can target one card on the field and destroy it. So yeah, multiple uses in this deck, and yeah, it's great. Then we have Raidraptor Strix, which has the effects. If it is link summoned, you can special summon a dark level 4 Dark Winged Beast monster from your deck and special summon it in defense position. It cannot be used as link material, and also if its effects are negated, but that's not really important in this deck. It's just another Xyz material, and yeah, it extends our combo plays. Also, if you activate the effect of a Raidraptor Xyz monster, you have to set rank up magic from your deck because it isn't an optional effect. It activates automatically, and yeah, you can also still activate the rank up you set, even if it is a quick spell. So yeah, it has a very really great use in this deck. So yeah. And the last one would be Beyond the Pendulum, because yeah, it just uh, if you link summon it, you can pay 1,200 life points and add a pendulum monster of your choice from a deck to your hand. But until you pendulum summon, the effects of your scales are negated, and you cannot activate monster effects until you pendulum summon. But yeah, not really that much of a problem in this deck. But yeah, it's kind of like the new version of Electromite, a fair version. So I really like it, and it's great pendulum support. Yeah, the side deck is more used for yeah countering other decks. You can actually choose what you want to play in it. What I usually really recommend would be some back row removal, and also playing cards like Dark Ruin no more or Forbidden Droplet if you can afford it, and maybe a few hand traps that are that are very good yet. And yeah, so let's try to play the combo. Yeah, I will show you the optimal hand you can have, and yeah, for example, now we imagine we have Monkey Board, Duelist Alliance, and yeah, a copy of Oddai's Revolution Dragon. Yeah, we turn the hand size to 3, so yeah, we just use those 3 cards. Other hands can work as well. You just have to change the combo a little bit to match your hand, but yeah, this is kind of like how you play the combo. So yeah, let's see. The first thing we should do would be we activate Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon's effect. We discard it and pay 500 life points, and then add the Supreme King Dark Worm to your hand, to our hand. Then we activate Monkey Board as a scale and activate its effect to add a Performapal monster of level 4 or lower. We add the Performapal Scarecrow Choker to our hand because yeah, this combo is really great because you can get get a full scale and out of one card and another monster as well. Next, we will activate Duelist Alliance to add Pendulum Call because we have one scale. And yeah, now we can activate Pendulum Call and discard the Dark Worm, which will help us in a few seconds. Now we add the Harmonizing Magician and the Celestial Magician. And now we can activate the effect of Dark Worm because we don't control any monsters, we can activate its effect and special summon it from our graveyard. And yeah, also we can activate its summon effect now and add a low scale gate 0 to our hand, which we don't really need right now, but yeah, maybe later on we could need it. And now we can normal summon our Skullcrobat Joker and activate its effect to add a Performapal Odd Eyes or Magician Pendulum monster from our deck to our hand. So we will add Chantroot. So now we have our full scale, but we won't Pendulum Summon yet. First we will make a Link 1 for Beyond the Pendulum and activate its effect by paying 1200 life points to add the Pendulum Sorcerer to our hand. Alright, and now the effects of our Pendulum Scales are negated yet, which isn't a problem. And yeah, now we can Pendulum Summon. We will Pendulum Summon our Skullcrobat Joker to save us some cards, our Dark Worm, our Harmonizing Magician, and the Pendulum Sorcerer. Those four should be enough. So Harmonizing Magician should always be summoned to this zone or this zone, because otherwise you may block your zones and have to wait with a second Omni-Negate a little bit. So yeah, that is the best zone. Then the Pendulum Sorcerer should be summoned here, so you can use it for your Xyz plays easier. Then the Skullcrobat Joker in one of the zones link monster points to, because it comes from the extra deck, and same with Dark Worm. And now we can make some funny plays, because now we can activate, for example, Harmonizing Magician as Chain 1, and also activate Pendulum Sorcerer Chain Link 2 to pop our scales. So now we can search two performable monsters. For example, now we will add the Other Eyes Minotauros, and I don't know, maybe just the Chantroot, because it won't be needed that much anymore. And special summon Oath Dragon Magician. And the funny part is, we can chain block our opponent now, again, and that with a negated effect. We can just activate Chantroot Chain Link 1 to get a scale from our deck again, and then activate the negated effect of Oath Dragon Magician to target the Revolution Dragon in our graveyard to add it back to our hand, which won't happen, but still your opponent cannot respond to it now to the Chantroot with Gamma, for example. So yeah. Now we can put All Eyes Dissolver in the scale and start with the next part of the combo. First we will just summon Baron de Fleur by using the Harmonizing Magician and Oath Dragon Magician. Yeah, if you play the Burrowed Savage Dragon, you could, for example, change it to, I don't know, Wisdom Eyes Magician. But yeah, you have to wait a bit to summon Baron de Fleur in that combo, to summon the Burrowed Savage Dragon in that combo, so you can get a Link monster in the graveyard, because otherwise it would be rather useless. And now we use the effect of Odd Eyes Dissolver, and yeah, we can now fusion summon our Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon by using Odd Eyes Minotauros, and by also using another Pendulum monster from our hand. In this case I would use Chantroot to summon Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. Of course, if you are on your second, if this is the second turn of the duel, you can also use a Vortex Dragon's effect to bounce another monster on the field that your opponent controls in attack position. So it could also help you to OTK. And now the funny part begins, because now we change the archetype. We will just move to Xyz. We will move to Raidraptor to summon Forstrix, because it just needs two level 4 monsters. It doesn't say anything else than two level 4 monsters, which is amazing for this deck. And yeah, we will detach one of its materials to search the Singing Lanius. Now, because we have an Xyz monster, we can special summon it from our hand. And now we will use those two to link summon into our Wystrix. Activate the effect of Wystrix to special summon a level 4 Dark Winged Beast from our deck. In this case, Zephyros, because Zephyros isn't really important on the field, but great in the graveyard. So now we can again Xyz summon another Forstrix and activate its effect. Detach Zephyros, that is very important in this case. And yeah, now we will add the Raider's Wing. So yeah, and this will trigger the Wystrix, making us set a rank up. In this case, Soul Shave Force. This is the only way you get access to Soul Shave Force, so it has to be it. But don't activate it right away. We need to save it for later. Otherwise, we don't have enough zones left. Next, we will move on to Rusty Bardiche. Luckily, Beyond the Pendulum is a dark monster, so it fits perfectly. Then we will use the effect of Bardiche to send the Silent Boots to the graveyard and set the Rank Up Magic launch. Because we don't need it on this turn yet. Then activate the effect of the Silent Boots to add the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force. And I mean, why not just activate the effect of Zephyros as well, bounce back the Order as Dissolver, because it's a face-up card we don't need anymore on this turn. Special summon it and take 400 damage. Then we activate Raider's Wings effect and detach the material from the Forstrix to special summon it. Then we can move on to Abyss Dweller. But yeah, we could also summon Dark Rebellion. It depends on your opponent's deck. Yeah, but Abyss Dweller basically is the most useful in many situations, especially if you play, I don't know, against tier elements or such. It's great to block the opponent's graveyard, so you are safe. And next, we will activate the Rank Up Magic and banish Beyond the Pendulum, Wystrix, and yeah, Order as Minotaurs. Also great that it is also a dark monster, because those are the monsters you won't need anymore. So you have to banish 3 dark monsters and target Forstrix. So you can make a rank up by 3 ranks and go to Arsenal Falcon. Don't activate the effect of Rusty Bardiche now, because we really need our monsters. But you can activate it if it is the second turn, because then you can pop a card of your opponent. So yeah, just not on the first turn, unless you can't get rid of another material of Arsenal Falcon. Then you can pop it to get at least the ultimate Falcon. So yeah, but yeah, next we will activate the effect of our Arsenal Falcon to special summon a Winged Beast from our deck. We will special summon Necro Vulture, and then we activate Necro Vulture's effect and tribute itself as cost to target the rank up magic force to get it back to our hand. Yeah, that could help us on the next turn. Or if you decided for the Dark Rebellion instead of Abyss Dweller, then you can set it so you can summon it on your opponent's turn. Use Badi's effect as another interruption to pop a card of your opponent and get out the Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon. Now we are locked to only Xyz summoning by rank up magics, which isn't a problem because we have rank up magic Soulshave Force. We pay half of our life points. Yeah, it's not the best deck if if we're going to play into time, but yeah. Now we can special summon the Raidraptor Force Tricks and rank it up into our Cyber Dragon Infinity. And yeah, there you have the full board. You have 3 Omni Negates to protect your rank up, for example. You have Abyss Dweller to trigger on your opponent's draw or standby phase. And then you can also rank up into Kali Yuga to block the field. So yeah, your opponent cannot use graveyard effects or effects on the field at all on their turn. So it's most likely an automatic win. So yeah, it's I have never had any opponent before that really were won after I played this combo. They usually just give up or yeah they just scoop or they are just defeated because they cannot do anything and on your turn you clean the board and OTK. But yeah, this is how I play the deck. Depending on your hand, of course, you have to play it a little different. Maybe the board isn't always with 3 Omni Negates, but usually it should be at least 2. And yeah, just make the best of your hand. But I really love this deck, and I haven't seen anyone play a deck like this. And I had a funny situation at a local at which my opponent said, "Hey, look what he's doing. What is he doing? I don't understand what he is doing. We are playing 10 minutes already, and he's still not done with his turn." But yeah, it's a quite combo heavy deck, but yeah, it's also full of surprise for your opponents, especially because this combination isn't really popular, or yeah, almost no one knows it. But yeah, this is my deck, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions or want me to show it again or need some other recommendations or such, just ask away in the comments. And yeah, this is my deck, and I hope you like it. And also, I will stream later on today. So see you later, and also have a good one. Bye.